Summary of today's main stories from BBC News. And universities are being urged to scrap plans for face-to-face teaching until after Christmas in order to prevent a second wave of coronavirus.
A rescue ship in the Mediterranean that has been paid for by the street artist Banksy says it's transferred the migrants on board to a larger vessel after becoming overcrowded. And it's time for the sport. A brilliant story from the world of horse racing to come in a moment or two. But you're going to start, I guess, with the football, Holly.
Yes, that's right. We're out of the blocks in terms of English football. Let's just say I can barely remember too much about that. But yeah, no, I'll not tell you how old I was.
I was still at primary school by then, I think.
Oh, rubbish. I just started, actually, at the BBC 99. That's when I first had my first proper job.
I've been here for a while by then. It's interesting, though, because it's obviously dependent on the Manchester weather, isn't it, this BBC game this afternoon. And back in the day, Holly, you won't remember this, but the Sunday League cricket, you'd have Peter West or Ted Graveney sitting at Taunton or somewhere, just kind of chatting away, filling the time while they were off for the rain. And
you feel like they would have just battled through it.
Exactly. Well, they just have to play. I bet they'll make them play a bit. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Holly.
Looking forward to that a bit later on. Right, it's 7:40. Now, there could be a significant financial windfall for thousands of teenagers next month as the first of the UK's trust fund babies turn 18.
The tax-free savings accounts were set up by the Labour government to encourage families to save for their children's futures. Depending on how much has been saved, they could be worth, I don't, it'd be amazing if anyone's got to this, but they could be worth as much as £70,000.
Yeah, that all depended on whether you added to those savings on a regular basis. Well, the finance and consumer rights journalist Felicity Hanna, a personal finance, and actually it's worth, if there aren't many 18-year-olds awake at the moment, which there may not be, if you have children, grandchildren, where yours is and have a think about what you're going to do with it.
We were talking about Sunday League cricket a minute ago. I have to apologise. I was talking about Peter West and I said Ted Graveney. I meant, of course, Tom Graveney. My apologies. A couple of people have picked me up on that. That was back in the 70s and 80s. Now, Philip Avery is tutting away in the screen. We're going to talk to you in a minute, but before, I'm going to try and do your job for you. Have a look at this. Have a look at this picture this morning.
Made similar errors about sporting. In fact, we had one this morning.
Philip, thanks very much. Thank you.
Right, more news and sport to come. Right now, it's time for Click. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Roger Johnson and Rachel Bird.
Good morning. Our headlines today. August, our top story this morning. Universities are being urged to keep students away from campuses until Christmas. That's to help to prevent a second wave of coronavirus.
More than 1 million students are due to return to campus this term, and universities say months of planning mean it will be safe when they arrive. But the University and College Union says it could be a recipe for disaster. Here's our education editor, Bronwyn Jeffries.
The Education Secretary has warned that parents who don't send their children back to school risk putting a dent in their future life chances.
Gavin Williamson has written an open letter to parents as children in England, Wales and Northern Ireland prepare to return to the classroom this week. We're joined now by...
The UN Refugee Agency says hundreds of migrants who've been rescued in the Mediterranean must be granted a place of safety.
They're still at sea, having been rescued by 3 boats, including one which was paid for by the graffiti artist Banksy. Simon Jones reports. President Trump will visit Kenosha in Wisconsin on Tuesday. That's the city which has been at the centre of protests since a black man was shot in the back by a police officer last weekend. Well, it's Sunday morning, the bank holiday weekend, 8:10. We'll have the weather for you in a moment. It is looking bright and dry, if a little cold out and about, but we'll bring you all the details in a moment or two. First of all, though, let's talk about care homes, because new research has shed a bit more light on just how badly affected they were at the height of the coronavirus pandemic here in the UK.
Yeah, researchers have found that care homes in England had the highest increase in excess deaths compared with the rest of the UK, and that people living in care homes accounted for 40% of all coronavirus deaths in the UK.
We're joined now by...
Bye to viewers on BBC One this morning.
Yeah, we're on the news channel until 9, but for the moment, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What do we do without?
It was very radical at the time. Well, it still is for some people, a radical diversion. Yeah. Thanks, Holly.
Cheers, Holly. Now, waters off the west coast of Scotland could be amongst the most important areas on the planet for the second largest fish in the sea, the basking shark.
Come Scotland to breed and maybe also to feed. Where are they the rest of the year? Where do they go?
Well, this is
not getting to them when they're in the mood, though, because that sounds like quite
might bite you on your petrol fin.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Imagine if I could film it.
Thanks, Lucy.
To talk to you, Lucy Hawkes there. I mean, they look such graceful creatures, don't they? But clearly they get a bit feisty when they get fruity.
Right,
Blimey.
well, you've learnt something this morning, Rach. Well done. What's the best thing you've achieved during lockdown? I've done a bit of baking, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, not very good, but
I've yet to see the evidence of
no,
this.
no, I know. But banana and carrot cake is on the way. One day I'll bring one in. This is a lovely story, though. The cat we played it a couple of hours ago, and lots of people responded to it because it can't be many people who have really mastered a musical instrument like this.
Yeah, but this isn't just about learning a musical instrument. It's also dealing with the grief of losing a parent. So it's all about 14-year-old Hamish from Jersey, who turned to music when his mother died. That was a couple of years ago in 2018, and then started piano lessons at the end of last year. And then coronavirus came along, so he spent so much of his time in lockdown learning online that he's now achieved the highest piano grade possible. And he did it in part with a piece of music he composed in memory of his mum. Really affecting story, and we wish Hamish all the best. You suspect that he has a brilliant career in music ahead of him.
A very talented fella. It's just after 9:15. Let's see what the weather prospects are. If you've got plans to get out and about today, Phil Lip Avery is with us. Morning, Phil. Very autumnal already, isn't it? Phil, thanks very much. Thank you.
And actually, if you're heading to the beach today, it's a case of wrapping up when you're there, for sure. But take your plastic toys home with you as well, is the message. All those beach toys, the buckets and spades and everything else. Keep Britain Tidy are trying to hammer this home after more than 130 plastic toys were collected just from one beach near Blackpool in 3 months.
Yeah, Philip started his weather forecast at Bexhill-on-Sea in East Sussex. We're off to Lytham St Anne's now because, as well as looking untidy, if the toys are just left on Britain's beaches, they, of course, will be swept into the sea and could cause harm to marine life. Laxmi Gopal is on the sands just south of Blackpool for us this morning. It looks like a lovely morning there, I have to say. Laxmi, very much indeed. I told someone off the other day because I saw them throw a plastic bottle out of the car window.
Good for you.
I pulled up at the set of lights. They looked a bit shocked.
Yeah, I bet. They were probably like, why is that bloke off the telly telling us to
Maybe.
sort our litter out?
Maybe.
Loads of people working hard all over the country to keep our beaches tidy, and we said it to you. And hope other people get the message.
And thanks to everybody else who got in touch to tell us about things you found on the beach. Just really quickly, two of them. Angela Clifford emailed to say her 10-year-old sister Diana held up a watch she found on the beach. They handed it in at the police station. The owner reclaimed it and bought her a present to say thank you. And a police diver in South Yorkshire found a set of keys at the bottom of a well. The chap came up to him as they were packing up. They'd been thrown in the night before by his girlfriend.
Whoa, that was lucky.
Just a bit.
It's 8:54. Now, by now, most of you will be familiar with the brilliant achievements of Tony Hodgell. He's 5 years old. He raised more than £1 million for the hospital that saved his life after being inspired by Captain Tom.
Now he's got a new fan, a royal one, no less, after receiving a letter of congratulations from the Duchess of Cambridge. We're going to talk to Tony and his mum Paula in just a minute. First, a little reminder of his achievements. Fantastic. Well done, Tony. Let's talk to Tony and to his mum.
He's gorgeous. It's really nice to catch up with them both again. Well, that's it from us. Dan and Louise will be back tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Do enjoy the rest of your bank holiday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.